Hello there, my very good friends. On this wrestling news video, we'll talk about why Britt Baker doesn't wrestle for AEW anymore.
WWE renames Invasion to Showdown.
You literally will not believe the name that somebody thinks WWE is underusing.
And how NXT Call-Ups have changed. I'm Adam Wilborn.
I can't believe that. Yeah, hi, I'm Andy.
This is the After News.
H stands for holy cow, what's going on?
Yeah.
Right, let's talk about Britt Baker. She's been off AEW since last November, I believe, when, she had that confrontation with Serena Deeb, where Serena Deeb came out on the ramp and Britt Baker was in the ring, presumably to set up a match between the two.
Yep.
And Britt Baker just stood there going, nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Says it down the camera lens.
Yeah, kind of burying the match before it even happened. Deeb then came out with that on a t-shirt the other week.
I love Deeb.
Kind of reminds me a bit of when squeaky chair. Sounded like a fart, that. It reminds me of when the sandbagging thing happened in Thunder Rosa. I was like, no, I'm going to own this.
Yeah.
Sandbagging t-shirt, all of that stuff. Fightful Select, Sean was doing a Q&A on Fightful Select and he was asked...
Get asked this all the time.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably a bit sick of it. I did...
It's slightly more appropriate with them being in Pittsburgh last week, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. And it was like, well, if she's not been used in her hometown, that's interesting.
Yeah.
But he was asked by one of his subscribers, what's the reason why she never there? Is anyone ever going to explain why? Here's what he said. I think it's pretty clear why Britt Baker vanished from television.
Yep.
She was brought back, had a highly publicized altercation with MJF. Yeah, the backstage argument.
Oh, yeah.
And all that stuff. She was put in a huge match with Mercedes Moné and it wasn't good. Then after that, she had the Serena Deeb program and was caught on the camera saying nobody cares. And he does point out that it's open to interpretation, but this is what happened. And he says it was too much for AEW at the moment. He then goes on and gives his opinion on stuff and talks about her working through like major injuries.
Yeah,
and all
she's
this
had
stuff.
a real tough time of it.
Yeah, she did. Like, one of the things that gets lost in the Britt Baker discourse is that she had a career-threatening absence. And it was probably taxing mentally as well as physically. I know a lot of people don't like Britt Baker. A lot of people who've never met her, primarily. Which is, she's my best friend, obviously.
Yeah.
But, I try not to jump too much on that stuff. It continues to be an interesting absence because she was a huge name for this company at one point. She was the star.
She's one of the pillars, really, wasn't she, if you think about it?
Exactly, in the women's division. I can think of two pillars straight away that I would put her above.
Yep.
In terms of being a star for AEW at that stage in its development, when she developed that heel character, she was so over. The Britsburg stuff was awesome. The stuff with Rebel, when she got injured and she was in the wheelchair and on crutches and stuff, was great.
Oh, Rebel's all right, by the way. Did you see she smashed her face in? She's
Yeah.
Oh, you're all right.
And then she was tweeting about the hospital, just kind of leaving her hanging and crazy stuff. I don't know how healthcare works outside of the UK. But yeah, there you go. Britt Baker now in month 11 of her absence from AEW TV.
Isn't it?
Yeah. You got to imagine that somebody in the Fed is like, when's that contract up?
Yeah, I agree with everything you said, and again, great reporting from Sean, but also no great surprise, like you say. I don't think anyone's suddenly going to be like, actually, she's insisted she wants to work on the creative team for AEW Collision.
Yeah. She told Tony Khan she wants Shivani's job.
Yeah. I mean, that he could buy that, actually, but...
Yeah, I suppose, yeah.
But, yeah, I just hope one way or another this gets resolved, because I think it's just a shame not seeing Britt Baker, especially with, and we often say this, I mean, kind of across the board with wrestling, but in particular with AEW, with how the AEW women's division has gone from strength to strength in recent years. It would be nice to have one of the women who was kind of the sort of leader of that be a part of it again. Yeah. I would not be surprised if WWE are sniffing around Britt Baker, because I think she'd be a great addition. It should be a great addition to any roster if you can sort out whatever the backstage stuff is.
Yeah. And I'm sure there are some difficult personal relationships there as well.
Absolutely. And yeah, just to hammer home, it's weird, isn't it? Like her and obviously Adam Cole come out when they return and say oh, here's the horrific thing that I've been going through. Anyway, now I want to win this shiny gold belt. Yeah. And you kind of a week or two after forget about the fact that was their life for months.
Yeah.
So I think it's not worth glossing over that. I can also understand why AEW we look at who we've got right now.
Yeah.
They're not exactly struggling to book female talent. Tony Storm's just dropped the title to Chris Statlander. Mercedes Moné's got 9 belts or whatever it is. I think Tekla's been doing some great stuff since she's shown up in AEW. Willow's...
That's me trying to do the spider thing, but that's about as far as I can go.
I can do the bit, but I can't... I just pull my... I can't lift my shoulders off the mat, so rubbish. Yeah. But yeah, so they've got an embarrassment of riches in the women's division anyway. It's just a shame that we don't get to see Britt Baker. I hope this gets resolved, as I say, one way or another.
Well, that's the thing. Like, with all due respect to Britt, we've put her over pretty strongly on this video. Is she a worker on the level of a Good wrestler? Point. On the level of a Chris Statlander or a Jamie Hayter or Tony Storm or a Mercedes Moné or even like Alex Windsor. Who's a very good wrestler. Very good wrestler. I wish the wins ass stuff's a bit much, but she's a very good wrestler, and I like her a lot. Yeah. Is she? I personally, I would say no. However, when you have a personality that huge, who has the ability to get over and has connected with the audience before, they are very valuable in different ways. So there should be a role for her, I think, in the company, assuming like everyone just doesn't hate her. Tony Khan's like, I hate Britt Baker, which I don't think is the case because they've always spoken very positively of one another. But yeah, maybe we'll see her again, maybe we won't.
Maybe it's very simplistic of me because I'm not involved with this and I hate confrontation, I avoid it at all costs. But maybe it's worth genuinely Britt and Tony or whoever the appropriate people are sitting down and going, what are we doing here?
Yeah, what's the crack? What's the
what do you want to do? What do we want from you? And if you can't come to some sort of resolution, say thanks very much. Yeah. It's been an amazing, 6 years she's been there from the beginning. Not to besmirch the term, but best of luck in your future endeavours, ... at WWE, because they inevitably would be like, yeah, get her in, even if it's in NXT or whatever.
They would. And the AEW does have, unfortunately, a history of ghosting wrestlers, so wouldn't want that to happen. Some stuff that I probably can't disclose on that. But yes, what I can disclose is, would you like a tremendous deal from NordVPN?
Yes, please.
Of course you would. 76% off in the US, 3 months for free. Sign up now, don't be a cow. Because if you're a cow, you don't have a VPN. You're just in a field.
But if you have hooves, you can click the link in the description.
You can, or you could nose it or something.
Get Farmer Giles to click it.
Yeah, get Earthworm Jim on the case, man. He's friends of the cows, isn't he?
Do you know that Nord actually wrote that read for us? It's there. The script's underneath.
It is.
There's my Farmer Giles. It's a genuine. I use NordVPN. It's awesome. Use it. Yeah. It's a great deal.
Earthworm Jim is in the room with us. I love Earthworm Jim, man.
We were talking about Burglar Bill on the podcast yesterday. What are we doing? Anyway.
The Hamburglar, I prefer.
I'll tell you what NXT are doing, and that is changing the name of their show.
I wonder why.
Well, not NXT, WWE, I should say, because it has been called Invasion, obviously. There was all the stuff about trademarking, and it was, thrown around quite a lot in the last few weeks.
Sure was.
But as we all know, it's not Invasion, it's Showdown. That's what it's being called now. It was all over NXT last night as they built to the big show next week where a load of TNA wrestlers will take on a load of WWE wrestlers, a load of TNA wrestlers who used to be in WWE and probably some of them who still should be. That's the inspiration part of the women's Survivor Series team or whatever. But anyway, yes, they've changed the name. It was obviously related to Invasion, the classic 2001 WWE pay-per-view or WWF pay-per-view versus WCW, I suppose, technically.
Yeah.
Now, this change is possibly due to some outside pressure you may have seen about. A post on X on Monday said that Sky News Arabia was reporting WWE angered Israel by using the title Invasion on October 7th. It featured the footage of NXT General Manager Ava making the announcement. You see, October 7th is a day of mourning in Israel. It's the anniversary of when Hamas terrorists attacked the country back in 2023, killing over 1,000 people and taking hostages as well. Obviously, there was a big Israeli response, Gaza, all that sort of stuff. An online publication, Israel Hayam, reported WWE's choice of name on the date is viewed as extreme insensitivity. I think it's probably best for everybody that they've just gone, you know what? Let's not stir anything up here. Let's just make things easier and just have effectively the font of Invasion, but call it Showdown.
Call it Showdown. Yeah, so I don't think that this would have factored into their original decision making. I don't think that they would have sat there and gone, we should piss people off over there by doing this show name on this specific date. It's just the WCW name, isn't it? They were just reusing an old wrestling brand, and this happened, and it seems to have angered some people and all of this stuff. So now we have the change. They've gone for a safer option. Thematically, Invasion makes more sense because it is that old brand.
Yes.
It's one of the most cursed wrestling stories of all time. But actually, the Invasion pay-per-view is, I think it still is, the most successful non-WrestleMania pay-per-view of all time in terms of buys, because anticipation for it was ginormous. So it's one of those things where it's falling on.
Actually got some wins on that show, didn't they?
They did indeed.
And then it was like, yeah, but now you need the WWF talent because you're crap.
Yeah, I miss Nick Patrick versus Earl Hebner. Match of the night. Match of the year. Match of the year. So yeah, I mean, look, it's just one of those things. If the show had fallen a week later, it wouldn't have happened. It wouldn't have come up. There you go. We can speculate away on the reasoning.
Yeah, quite the gymnastics they had to do on the show last night to be like, it's less an invasion actually. This is more of a showdown, really. That's what everyone's been saying. Not just us. Everyone's saying it.
Yeah. Now next week is going to be NXT wrestling match.
Yeah.
Instead of invasion. Right.
Oh, I forgot what this story was.
Who do you, when you think of underused WWE, this topic we've been discussing for decades, right? Back in the day, you might have said Cesaro, Dolph Ziggler, people like that. Who's top of your list these days, man? When you really think of underused WWE wrestlers, who's right at the top of your list?
I think if I'm looking,
I'll give you free guesses
across the whole, gamut of WWE. I think they should be doing more with the likes of the Street Profits.
Nope.
Okay. Tez, I mean, might be finally getting his singles run, but Dawkins deserve one as well. Don't forget that. Great shout from, was it Pollard in our...
yes, was.
In our Chatty Faces thing. Almost as good as my pick, really.
People didn't like that.
Yeah.
Yes, did a good job.
Mello?
Nope.
Okay.
You got one more guess. I can't believe you haven't got... This guy really is... He's been so underused by WWE throughout his entire career, man.
I bet you this guy's barely got a world title.
Yeah, they book him like ass. He never gets any respect.
Okay.
They never put him in big spot. It's really...
let's say a combination. Can I have 2 for 1?
Yeah.
Both Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe down in NXT. They should be on the main roster.
You're correct. It's Randy Orton. So shout out to Mark Henry.
Love you, Mark, man.
I don't know if underused is the word I would describe.
He sort of stumbled across what's about to happen, really.
Yeah. So he was on a show called Inside the Ring, and he said, "Some people think Randy Orton's being underused right now. I'm one of those people." All right.
Literally saved Cody Rhodes.
But I wouldn't want Randy to be champion as good guy Randy. I want Randy in that role that's tailor-made for him. Coming in, punting people again, RKOing people's grandmothers and kids, stomping everyone. Let Randy be Randy. So I totally agree, actually, on the heel turn.
Yes.
It's happening. It's going to be the big winter program for Cody Rhodes.
Yep. I don't think he's winning the world title.
No, he's not winning the world title, I don't think, either. Wouldn't surprise me if he did, because he's got, 13, 14? He's got a lot.
Just put him past Cena in his last final few months. Sorry, John. You're not the big record holder.
See you later. And he is a tremendous heel, right,
Yeah.
Randy? It's his best role, IMO.
And they've been slow doing this for, a year?
Yeah. So it's coming. It's obviously coming. Underused is not the word I would personally use. All respect to Mark Henry, obviously. Randy's in big storylines all year, baby.
Yeah.
All year when he's fit and healthy. He's really over as well.
He's got to that level now, and he's a legend, obviously, but he's got to that level now where he is going to be, but he doesn't need to be factored into the title picture. Just facing Randy Orton is a huge thing anyway. But yeah, I think they've actually been doing some really good work with this in terms of he's always been there for Cody, so when he does eventually turn, it's that classic thing of the heel needs to be justified in their own mind for this, and he completely would be. He's like, do you know how many ass beatings I got from the likes of Drew McIntyre for you, and yet you've completely overlooked me as you know what, maybe me and you should run it back, that sort of thing. So I think they're probably going to get the whole Crown Jewel stuff out of the way. Maybe, this is some interesting speculation with the whole, the two Bronnies not probably being involved in that champion versus champion match. Maybe some other shenanigans happen, or they go to get involved, and Randy comes out to make the save. I think Seth should win at Crown Jewel. I think he needs it more, and it would service this story better. But either as part of the Crown Jewel story, or in the immediate aftermath, I think Randy Orton's going to RKO. As I said to Hamlet on the SmackDown podcast recently, RKO him not out of nowhere.
Yeah.
We've all seen it coming.
Yeah.
But I also understand where Mark's coming from, because I assume Mark has a very good relationship with Randy. They worked a lot together back in the day. But yeah, I don't think anyone's thinking, why aren't they booking Randy Orton better?
Yeah, gosh, this Cody Rhodes guy really underbooked.
They're just taking their time with it.
Yeah, exactly. And they should.
Yeah.
They should be patient. Don't book for goldfish.
No, exactly.
There you go.
Interesting final story here today surrounding NXT Call-Ups. Some more great reporting from Fightful here. Now, you remember back in the bad old days where seemingly on a whim, I distinctly remember the one where effectively Vince said to Triple H, who are like some of your best guys? And he's like, I don't know, Gargano, Ciampa, Aleister Black. He's like, yeah, I'll have them, thanks. Cheers.
Ricochet and Aleister Black are our tag team, by the way. Yeah.
No, I'll just have them all, thanks.
Yeah, give me them
all. But the way that people seemingly were called up from NXT on a moment's notice. Often, yes, there were sort of appearances on like Raws after WrestleMania or whatever, but sometimes it could just devastate NXT booking because, nope, they're gone. We need them from next week, basically. So wrap up everything you've got going. But that's transformed over recent years, as Fightful reporting here. Saying, we've been told that the way things have been handled internally over the last year or so has been significantly different. The call-ups themselves have been kept way closer to the vest. We've seen that, of course. And are less strict as a talent getting off NXT TV just to go to the main roster. Standard procedure is that someone gets called up, and because of the easier main roster schedule these days, they can finish out whatever they're doing on NXT TV. A Performance Center source also said that WWE feels it's important to have veteran wrestling presences within the TV experience, both at the Performance Center and on the show itself, which explains why some people drop down and do programs. Becky Lynch is a perfect example of that. It was stated by the source that have been some brought in that didn't have immediate main roster plans, and a full-on NXT run was the intent from the company. Look, I love NXT, and I think they're doing great stuff with it at the moment. But in particular, yes, with this call-up system changing, I think it's vastly improved. You've almost had sort of soft launches for, in particular, Javon Evans recently, of course. You look at people like Sol Ruka, Lash Legend, people like that who pop up to have, whether it be just a one-off match or a title shot because they've earned it on NXT or whatever, but also allowing those people to continue what they're doing in NXT, to finish up anything down there. I just think it just works so much better because I really like NXT as a week-to-week product. So, yes, it's developmental. Yes, the main thing we should be focusing on here is what Raw and SmackDown put out, and if you've got talent down there, use them. I could list 10 people, mention Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe, that could come up tomorrow to the main roster and arguably should have just started there. But if they want this sort of veteran presence, it's understandable they have people like that on the show who can help.
Ethan Page is a good example.
Yeah, as well. But yeah, I just think this works a whole lot better across the board for WWE.
Yeah, because it's crap if you're in the middle of a storyline and you can't continue that anymore because the person's been called up.
Blood feud where you go, bye.
Yep, see you later. I'm taking a bit of time off. I'm going to the blue brand.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense. So yeah, it's a lot smoother. And we have seen some really good main roster transitions lately. Stephanie Vaquer, is probably the best recent example because she's now the champion.
Yeah.
She was really over from the first minute she appeared. On the flip side, you do still have some rougher transitions. I don't think Julia has transitioned particularly well.
Yeah.
And I know he's been on the roster for basically a year, but and I know some people like the tag team, but for me, Carmelo Hayes' role is dog. It's rubbish.
They need to bring Trick up to partner with him again, I think.
They need to do something because Melo don't misses every single mark. But so it's not exactly foolproof, right? There are still going to be flaws. However, it's much better. You can't just yank people out of storylines and go, forget that.
Yeah.
He's over here now and he's a tag team with a guy he's never spoken to before. That's rubbish. So it's better now. Good.
Yeah, vast improvement without question. And we're talking more about NXT on the NXT Review podcast, wherever you get your podcast from, a little bit later on today.
You want to see an NXT list? Here's a bunch of times NXT was better. Black and Gold was better than literally everybody. Everything.
And everybody.
Bye.
Bye.